Crawford's brilliant. Like he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement.
A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch.
Crawford's team has been talking up what they see as his edge over Canelo, but their confidence is drawing pushback. Several boxing pros are warning Crawford not to underestimate the challenge. According to his camp, Crawford has a secret weapon they believe could give Canelo serious trouble. With both fighters getting ready for a high-stakes clash, Crawford's unusual fighting style might just make the difference.
Me, I'm always up for a challenge. If you know Terence Crawford, you know he's always going to try to challenge. And whatever, you can be bigger than him, taller than him, it don't matter. He's always going to challenge you.
Right.
And I can't not help it.
Right,
It's just in me. So
Crawford's team, led by longtime trainer Brian McIntyre, believes no fighter today can match Crawford's ability to adapt, his all-around skills, and his sharp fight IQ. They say these qualities make him the toughest challenge Canelo has ever faced, even as Canelo continues to build his legacy as one of boxing's all-time greats. Still, most people in the boxing world warn that things could take a turn once Canelo starts landing punches. As the hype builds for their big fight on September 12th in Las Vegas, Crawford's camp is confident that the undefeated star brings something Canelo hasn't seen before. Bernie Davis, a close member of Team Crawford, says no sparring session or training camp can truly prepare for what Crawford does in the ring. He sees Crawford's smarts and ability to adjust as a puzzle Canelo simply can't solve, a belief shared by many in Crawford's tight-knit Omaha circle.
He's still youthful about boxing. He loves boxing, and this is one way to get him up. You know, he's a challenge guy. He loves a challenge, and Canelo is the biggest challenge you can get. You know, we got to go up 2 weight classes, really 3 weight classes to get a guy like that. Hardest puncher, great counter puncher, tons of experience, undisputed champion, unified champion, a couple of divisions.
In a recent interview with Mill City Boxing, Bernie Davis pointed out that Canelo will have a hard time getting ready for someone as unpredictable and fluid as Crawford. He explained that while some might compare Crawford's game plan to Floyd Mayweather's, sharp defense, slick movement, and smart counterpunching, Crawford brings something different to the table. What makes Crawford stand out, Davis said, is his ability to switch between orthodox and southpaw stances without losing any power or accuracy. That kind of flexibility, he believes, is the key to cracking the Canelo code. And even with all of Canelo's experience and ring smarts, Davis thinks this might be a challenge he's not ready for.
a big dude, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I believe in my abilities. He's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy. Like, he's 5'8", I'm 5'8", you know what I mean? My arm's longer than his, you know? That fight would be good. You won't get hit in the fight.
Still, some boxing analysts aren't sold on Crawford's stance switching as a game-changer. They argue that a veteran like Canelo won't be easily rattled by those tactics. With his ability to adjust mid-fight, slick upper body movement, and powerful body shots, Canelo is a tough puzzle for anyone, no matter their style. Crawford may have all the right tools, but the big question is, can he actually pull it off against someone as experienced and battle-tested as Canelo, who spent 18 years facing the best in the game?
Biggest question to me, how will the 12-pound difference be for Terence Crawford? It's going to be his first fight at 168. For Canelo, this is the weight class that he always fights at, no problem. But I'm really curious on how Terence Crawford is going to be able to adjust to this and if it's going to be advanced.
One of the strongest voices urging caution for Crawford is former world champion Amir Khan, who knows firsthand how dangerous Canelo can be. Khan, who fought Canelo in 2016, spoke with Fast Slots about the devastating knockout he suffered in the 6th round, an experience he says changed his life. "It wasn't just a loss," Khan admitted. "It took something out of me that I never got back." Reflecting on that night, he called Canelo the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world and said the knockout was so brutal, it felt like it took 5 years off his life. "You can get knocked down and bounce back," he said, "but that hit was different. I was never the same fighter after that."
Well, man, you have to say Canelo probably because he's so big and physical and strong. You know, he had the
he had the weight behind him. I remember hitting him, and he didn't budge. Like, he did not even move. I was like, oh, you know, that's what you think.
Your face when you said that.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, I swear that's what. And when I hit him with that left hook, right hand, and that's a shot I've literally knocked a lot of people down with. And he didn't move back, and I thought, oh shit.
Khan's words serve as a serious warning about what it really means to step into the ring with Canelo. It's not just about surviving the punches, it's about dealing with the long-term effects, both physical and mental. For all of Crawford's talent and ring IQ, he'll be facing more than just Canelo's power. He'll be up against the pressure of fighting a man who's left a trail of broken fighters behind him. Khan says it's not only the knockout that haunts you, it's the damage to your confidence, your durability, and how you approach the sport afterward. As great as Crawford is, Khan believes he's heading into a trap set by one of the most physically dominant fighters of this generation.
Crawford is going to be such an easy fight for Canelo because Terence Crawford can't run the whole fight and win, as we have seen in the Canelo versus William Skull fight, which means Terence Crawford is going to have to engage with Canelo, and Terence Crawford doesn't have the power to hurt Canelo. Terence Crawford's performance against Israel Madrimov was also trash, and Israel Madrimov isn't even the best fighter at 154. And let me remind you, Terence Crawford is 37 years old, so I'm expecting Canelo to knock out Terence Crawford the same way he knocked out Amir Khan.
Come on, Shagor, come here.
Boxing legend and Mexican icon Julio Cesar Chavez has also shared his thoughts on the matchup. In an interview with FightHype TV, Chavez made a bold prediction. Not only will Canelo win, he'll knock Crawford out. It's really not a fair fight, Chavez said. Crawford is a great fighter, but Canelo is on another level. According to Chavez, Crawford might be chasing a big payday, but Canelo's strength and power will end the fight. In his view, the physical gap between the two is just too wide, one that even the most skilled boxer might not be able to overcome.
The two fighters are going to be different weight classes, even though they're going to fight on a specific weight. He believes that they're just going because of the money, Crawford, but probably Canelo's going to knock him out.
Would you rather see
Oscar De La Hoya, who promoted Canelo for over 10 years before their messy split, offered a more balanced perspective. In a conversation with Brian Mazik, De La Hoya acknowledged Crawford's incredible talent and said that an upset would be historic. Still, he's leaning toward Canelo coming out on top. If Crawford pulls this off, my God, give him the title of greatest ever, De La Hoya said. But I just don't see it. He admitted Canelo can be slow on his feet, something Crawford could exploit. Yeah, he walks on quicksand, De La Hoya noted. But the pressure from the heavier guy? Canelo will be 200 pounds in that ring. That's hard to deal with. While he thinks it's a tough matchup, De La Hoya said if Crawford somehow wins, he deserves full credit, calling him the Messiah of fighters.
A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, this is the truth again, it's a money grab. That's it.
Eddie Hearn, one of boxing's most influential promoters and a close partner with Canelo in recent years, shared similar concerns. While he respects Crawford's unmatched skill, Hearn believes the size difference is just too much to overlook. Crawford isn't just moving up to 168, he just came up from 154. Before that, he was at 147, then 140, and even 135, Hearn explained to Boxing Social. I just think the size difference is too big. For Hearn, the issue isn't only about skill, it's also about physicality and durability, both of which heavily favor Canelo.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
Hearn pointed to Crawford's fight against Israel Madrimov, a powerful 154-pounder, as proof that even at junior middleweight, Crawford has had trouble handling physically imposing opponents. He struggled against Madrimov, who's a strong 154-pounder, and he's really going to feel it against Canelo, Hearn said. While he still respects Crawford's brilliance, The British promoter remains confident that Crawford's move up in weight will be his biggest challenge.
Fight.
I don't think so. I think that it's much too much weight for Terence. You know, the style was difficult. And, you know, people will say it was a poor performance from Terence, but let's just say it was a great performance from Matrimov. You know, I think 168 is much too big for Terence. But like he said, if the money's right, he'll fight.
After his big win over Ryan Garcia, the outspoken Rolando Romero also weighed in, dismissing Crawford's chances completely. In an interview with ES News, Romero asked, "Let me ask you this, who's the better fighter, Floyd Mayweather or Terence Crawford? And you're going to compare a solid 168-pound man like Canelo to fight Crawford?" Romero didn't hold back, calling anyone who believes Crawford can win stupid for ignoring the basic laws of physics that shape the sport. They have weight classes for a reason, he stressed, adding that Canelo's size and power would simply be too much for Crawford to handle.
Raleigh Romero claims Canelo Alvarez, who has only lost twice in 67 fights, will suffer a third defeat, but not against Terence Crawford. Raleigh believes David Benavidez would school Canelo, as Benavidez is fighting to win, not just for a paycheck. However, Canelo has been dismissing a Benavidez fight, focusing instead on a Bivol rematch. In boxing, anything can happen, so stay tuned.
David Benavidez, a top contender now campaigning at light heavyweight, is the latest big name to share his thoughts on the potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Having long pursued a fight with Canelo himself, Benavidez's opinion carries weight, especially with his first-hand experience at the top levels of the sport. In an interview with Sean Ziddle, Benavidez discussed why he believes Crawford, despite his undeniable skill, faces a tough challenge in his potential debut at 168 pounds. He started by praising Crawford's technical ability, calling him one of the best technicians he's ever seen. However, Benavidez was quick to add a crucial point that could influence the outcome. While Crawford is a master of his craft, he seemed to lose some of his trademark power when he moved up to 154 pounds. "I'm not saying he had problems," Benavidez said, "but he didn't look like he had the same power he had at 147.
Right. There are too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66? Canelo's going to come down to 160.
Do you think Crawford can pull off the upset? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more analysis on this exciting matchup.